Got it. All right. Is there sound coming anywhere or?
Yep, you muted him, so there's no one to speak. But
Right, but my sound is actually being recorded, or you can hear me, guys? Shake yes. Herb, if you hear me. Okay,
Yes,
very
I
good.
can hear.
Oh, thank you, Julie. This is all new. This is a different setup. I'm sorry you've got to look at me twice on this screen. Not quite 7:30 yet. Board, have any questions of the bills before we start the meeting? The abstract the clerk sent out. I'm sure you all noticed the sewer charges.
Yeah.
yeah,
We had a frozen line at the Marina pump station. The Marina pump station. It broke a check valve, and first we had BJ come to jet it to thaw it out, to open it up. And we had to come a week later and have Egan, the mainline block, had to have it jetted from the pump station out back there all the way under the channel, all the way up the hill. Then it was still leaking.
Because it was frozen,
The whole thing started with a freeze.
and then it plugged the line.
Then it plugged the line. Once we had a hole in the check valve, liquids were leaking out, solids were staying in the pipe. It literally made a plug.
It didn't freeze going.
No, so once we got BJ down here to dig it up and take the check valve out, there's a curb stop and there's a check valve on the pump itself. There was no need to have a check valve the other side of the curb stock. I think it was just double protection. And quite honestly, it became a problem spot. So they took that out, buried it back in, and the system started working again. But it was rather expensive having Egan come to blow the line, but there was no way other than digging the hole. It had to happen.
That'd be impossible.
Huh?
Be almost impossible. Though.
I mean, they were able to punch through and dig out around
Right.
the leak was in the check valve because that was percolating warm water out. So it had created a thaw spot.
Right.
So they got in under it, chipped away and got a hole big enough to fix things.
Let me just start heading up the road.
But in all honesty, both Egan and BJ were wicked responsive. I mean, that's always been a big fear of mine, the fact that we have these pump stations this close to the channel. We don't ever want to get into that problem. And thankfully the soils were sandy enough there that they still were able to contain the water that was leaking out. And we were in a low flow period, which I believe also exacerbated the freeze up. We had a colder winter this winter than we've had in a couple of years.
Let us know.
With less snow. So Don wants to, after the spring thaw or whatever, maybe scrape that off and put some insul board down over the top of that, where the gate valve is or whatever. It just seems to be a choke point because they use the marina upstairs intermittently.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah, right. So anyways, that's the explanation on those big bills there. According to our accountant help at, name of our firm again, Victor?
Oh, Williamson Law.
Williamson Law. Ted, the town general fund does own the sewer building and does own the pipes that run through the line. Right now in our abstract, it's down as a sewer bill in there, but it can and will probably definitely come out of the general fund for protection. Because quite honestly, folks, if we were ever to get fined, the general fund would pay that fine anyways. We own the infrastructure. The usage is paid for by the district. Because that isn't in the contingency plan for the district. I'll tell you that right now. Any other questions on abstract of bills? Anything jump out at anybody?
The police vehicle. Yeah, it's a big one.
All right, let me get to the police vehicle. I cannot minimize Zoom when you are recording this meeting.
so I was recording in the cloud, so you probably can stop.
Okay, you are recording in cloud? Okay.
Looking shiny.
To go well?
Oh, well.
Very good. All right, let me find that.
We got your bill.
That's what.
Yeah, that's what he's got me looking up now. You want to explain the bill on the police car?
Had a ball joint going in the car or something. I don't know.
Gotta get back to the abstracts. Where are you, abstracts?
I'm assuming that's just a down payment.
No.
Just joking.
Oh, I was gonna say no. You scared me, Dan, please.
Oh, we're talking-
I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, we knew how it's going on.
There it is. All right, so then you don't need an
No,
explanation.
no.
Busting my chops?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions, non-busting of the chops?
No.
All right, it's now 7:30. Why don't we call the meeting to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank God we're in a country that allows us to do that. Before we start the meeting, I'd just like to have a quick moment of silence for those in the Ukraine and hope that there's some kind of resolve that can materialize soon for those people. Watching the stuff in the news is getting beyond depressing for them. Thank you. So everybody had a chance to review the minutes of the February 8th town board meeting as submitted by the clerk. Anybody have any requests for corrections, additions, deletions of the clerk?
I had one correction,
Correction?
for when it said officials present, Councilman Schmid via Zoom. Last month he was here.
Thank you.
He's via zooming now.
Clerk?
I have nothing.
The clerk was clairvoyant. Would the clerk agree to those changes?
Yes.
Okay. These are the clerk's minutes. Public comment. Anybody, members of the public, have anything they'd like to say at this point in time?
I just want to give a couple of updates. One, remember last month, we talked about the mobile integrated health, and we finally got a new grant deadline for the New York State Health Foundation, which is June 9th. So Old Forge is working diligently with state EMS on fine tuning a protocol and procedures and, kind of creating that pilot program outline. And we are working on getting support from Excellus, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Fidelis, and United Healthcare. So we're talking with those folks who are very interested in the program. It's gonna hopefully reduce their costs. And then also engaging like Assemblyman Smolin, Senator Tedesco, and Congressman Stefanik to provide letters of support as well. So as we get closer, I'll just keep you posted on that. And obviously there will be other foundations that we also engage with and looking for supportive funding.
And just, and not to interrupt, but I believe we are losing Mr. Tedesco as our representative, and
Oh, is that the redistrict?
yes,
He's got to run again, right? For the new
He's
district.
running.
we appoint that. Oh,
In a whole new district. though.
I believe, do we get Billy Jones now?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, all the redistricting. So, but yeah, it's a shame to lose Mr. Tedesco. Sorry.
Okay, well, thank you for that information. Dan is also kind of working his way through inlets, nonprofits, kind of explaining what the process is when you're creating a project, you're looking for a grant. You want to get those projects shovel ready, but you will also want to look at your project as maybe a grander project, because the more your project scope is, the more possibilities you have utilizing maybe some town funds or the organization's funds with matching funds. It's just a process, and it's an education thing. So I appreciate that he's doing that. And Mike, I think, understands part of that, because I think he's already met with you
A few
You
times.
have had those discussions, so I think you understand that. Let's see, I kind of think that's it. If there's anything else, I'll hit you again at the end.
Okay. Any other
I
members?
enjoyed helping with the outhouse races.
Very good. Anybody else from the public? All right. Communication, COVID update. We're back to some kind of normal, I guess, unless the CDC or the governor comes out and tells us differently. Mask mandates have been lifted, schools, masks are being lifted. I think this has been predicted for a while that at some point we were going to get to a over the curve, and I think we're there. But that said, still be careful. And if you haven't gotten vaccinated, I know I'm a broken record. I strongly believe in it, and I still recommend it to protect you and your family and your friends. Communications. A legal team that's supporting T-Mobile and AT&T and from Tarpon Towers. Jackie, I get the name wrong. I always do that. Murray. Yep, Jackie Murray from Lake Placid. Is working with the APA to answer their last and final question on GIS of where the tower actually is, even though on the survey maps, it shows where the towers are going to be. The APA is nothing but officious with crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. It's their game. We've got to play it. It's a state address that the state already has, but the state can't seem to find or doesn't have anybody in that office that can give it to the APA. So we've had to hire a private contractor to go out and do that. I don't know, did I report on that last month?
We spoke of it though, about clarifying it, yeah.
Yeah, well, we actually, rather than wait for them to find the person or find the whatever, Spectrum and the county and the town, believe it or not, are gonna go out and make sure that happens and they've got their information. We're still hoping to get the permit in our hand, actual permit, before summer. You can't make this stuff up. Assessor codes, parks building, anybody here? Assessor, you have anything? I know Mike, I'm going right over Mike's head.
I'm meeting with Barry tomorrow and he's gonna help me with the land tables and everything's pretty good.
Because we're not looking at a total revale this year, but the following year.
Once we adjust these land tables, it will reval by neighborhood. But everybody's gonna have something.
Okay.
Everybody will change this year somewhat.
Somewhat.
And we'll do a full revale next year.
We've got to, I would say 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Because we've got to, get with someone and hire them, and it's usually a 2-year process, so. If what I do this year should hold us
Okay.
hopefully for another year, and then if we contract with a company to reval the whole area,
Mhm.
we should be in good shape for a few years then.
Very good. Parks, oh, he didn't have anything.
Met with Dan from Living 86. We did apply for that grant for the new trail markers and signs for Fern Park. It's in. We're hoping to hear back in the next week with some follow-up questions, and I believe they'll make a decision by the end of next month or so. We can move forward with that. We also talked about another grant. It's the T-Mobile Hometown Grant. They pretty much pick out 100 small towns and villages every year. They give them $50,000 to do some kind of project. So I've been talking with Dan. I think we'd like to apply for that grant. There's no money on our end. We don't have to match any funding or anything. And we've been looking at a new playground for Arrowhead Park. So I have a bunch of options here. If anyone wants to take a look at them.
The equipment you're talking?
Yes, it'd be basically the same idea of what Old Forge put in, same company.
Mhm.
So it's very woodsy looking.
Fits in with all the insurance and health department requirements and fall zones and
Absolutely, and they do everything. They install it, they make the fall zones, they do the borders. It's pretty much, you pay them and it's done.
Because if anybody didn't know, you can take a piece of equipment out, but you can't put a piece of equipment in unless you do it the right way.
Yeah, they're approved by all that stuff. So that's something we're gonna hopefully be applying for here soon. I believe John sent you all the plans for the bathrooms.
I did send an email out on that, didn't I?
Mhm.
Went out.
Don't mind.
So basically what we're looking at for the 2 bathrooms in the hallway out here, to redo them. We're thinking of doing all vinyl walls, would be like a vinyl plank and do vinyl floors and all new fixtures. Be about $3,900 from Lowe's and give or take another 800 from Ace Levy and just for
Incidentals.
right. And we'd like to install baby changing stations as well in each bathroom. That's something we've been lacking in here. So thinking a total budget of about $4,800 for 2 bathrooms.
For redoing 2 bathrooms that quite honestly are, they're well past their prime. I think that's,
I think for 2 bathrooms, it's a bargain.
Wouldn't vinyl hold up better than a tile? I mean, isn't the floor a little too flexible in there, really? It doesn't hold up that well.
No, I think the vinyl is a great way to go. I mean, it's super durable, it's slip proof,
Flexible.
and it's, I mean, a lot easier to install than tile.
Oh, yeah.
it's very forgiving.
Installation time is so much easier.
And I think it'll last longer, most likely. So it'll make it look pretty classy in there too. So
Easier to clean too.
very.
Tiles tedious to clean and
We don't want to make a motion not to exceed $5,000 for restoring both bathrooms.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Thanks for doing the research on it and to look forward to new bathrooms. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Yeah.
Something I'll order this week and hopefully we can get going at the end of this month or through April, kind of wanted to slow down. 2 more things. So I looked into the tracks for the side-by-side. It's pretty eye-opening, the cost.
Yeah, it would shock you.
So we're looking at $5,800 for the tracks installed. Then about another 8,000 for a heater and a door kit.
The cab kit, huh?
That doesn't include, they can't get power steering for it, which is a big problem.
So you might want to look into that. If you don't have the power steering, maybe it won't work with the tracks. I don't
Honestly,
know.
my thought is it's probably not gonna work. And looking at the specs of the vehicle, I think we're maxing it out, towing a drag behind it with the tracks and the weight. I think, we won't get as long.
Longevity.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be
I mean-
cheaper just to trade it. It's still fairly new. and-
That is the perfect machine for summer here. If we want,
And that was the main intent, really.
Right.
if we went with something bigger that would do that. it's
Then
not
you
gonna
lose it
work.
here.
It's not gonna work on the sidewalks here and all of that. So, I mean, that's much more important in the summer for us, since we have options to groom already. So I still think at some point we should look into going to a side-by-side for grooming, but I don't think this is the answer. I think a whole new machine at some point when we need to upgrade our current equipment would be the best bet.
They don't make a smaller one, they fit the criteria.
You know,
They don't. huh?
the Barnstormers have the 815 John Deere. We have the 635, I believe. It's bigger, it's diesel.
Right.
And it pulls all their stuff fine with tracks. They work great. But we can't get it around town picking up garbage and all that in summer.
We got to remember the fact that we really are, we want to say the shoulder seasons are fill themselves up, but we're a 2-season town. So, and equipment needs have to be equipment needs. So I appreciate you backing off on this and I'd say let's keep an open mind for it in the future.
Or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we can save some equipment budget over the next few years and maybe sell a snowmobile, we can get there, but
Yeah, I don't think I'd be looking to get rid of the one summer vehicle so we can get a different vehicle. So
I don't think that's a good idea.
I'm just surprised you don't make something smaller. There has to be other people. Do what we're doing.
That E15 that's what everybody uses.
Yeah.
And that's as small as they get for that kind of.
To
work.
do
Get
that,
work.
to do that application, it almost is forced to have.
but it'd be a little crazy driving that around the park in the summer.
It doesn't go very fast. either.
And I mean, like, we already know what works, what Chip got, what the Barnstormers have. So that's something to look at in the future.
Right. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Our machine works perfect for what we need it for in the summer, fall, 3 seasons. So
Chip may be very willing to sell you that machine so that he can get a new machine.
He would. Absolutely.
Sorry,
And finally,
thought I'd raise everybody's blood pressure by saying that.
I'd like to spend about $1,600 on replacing our water line pump for the Arrowhead bathrooms. That water line's been spliced, I can't tell you how many times. And then last year when I was hit by the boat, spliced another 3 or 4 times. And the pump pulled in a lot of algae and sand, and
It gets a lot of sand in here, doesn't it?
it's to the limit at this point. We made it through the season. It wasn't easy.
That pump's been rebuilt a couple of times, hasn't it?
It has.
We don't involve further.
I'd like to buy 300 feet of 2-inch. That'll get us about 60 feet farther out into deeper water, colder water.
Right.
So less algae.
If
hopefully.
you go out far enough, you can pick up the outlet from the sewer. Run in. Just saying.
Just pipe it in.
Same place.
Let's just pipe it in.
Just throwing that out there as you extend your.
You'd have to go back up the channel all the way to the marina.
Just be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm saying.
Does that pump have any value to where you could keep it as a backup and have it plumbed in or no?
We'll keep it as a backup. We currently have a backup.
Okay,
So I'd like to use our current backup as the new pump, buy a new pump as the backup. And we can keep the old one for parts. They're all the same model number.
okay.
So parts are interchangeable.
Sweet.
We're looking at $675 for the line, 300 feet. And I found a pump, they're like $1,500. Found one online for $724.
Same pump.
Same pump.
And I believe that's within the budget for Arrowhead, but he does need approval to make the purchase.
The pump is rated for that kind of push.
It is. It's 65 PSI, which is way more than we use. The line's a 160 PSI.
Perfect. That's all I want to know. You'd be perfect.
Yep. And another good thing is the fire department is willing to give us their out of service 3-inch fire hose. And we're gonna wrap the line in that
Sleeve it.
to give it extra protection against the rocks, the sand, the ice.
Yeah.
So it should last forever.
The boats.
It'll last a while, sure.
That takes a hit and saves on the pipe.
I'll offer that motion.
Offered,
I'll second that.
discussion. Thanks for the research again.
Yeah.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? We heard you that time, Herb.
That's it. Thank you.
That's it? All right. Anybody have anything else they wanted to point out from the information office? I'd just like to comment on the frozen fire and lights. You already mentioned the outhouse race. It was a phenomenal weekend. Mother Nature helped out. Snowstorm the day before, rain the day after, or was it snow the day after? I can't remember the rain, snow. But between the fireworks, the outhouse race, the number of people that were at the sledding hill, it was great to see that many people in town and really nice. And I owe Adele an apology on the outhouse race, so I'll make it publicly here. Some of us bristled at putting the outhouse out by the road, not quite sure what outhouse races were, this, that, or the other. A generic plain one can go out by the road a little sooner next year, but I don't think any of the ones that were decorated can go out by the road. But it was a good idea and it was fun. I think as anybody that listened to the IABA meeting, there was a lot of talk on safety and how to get on and off the ice. I think that's got to be looked at between my brother, the IABA and others. I think that can happen, but kudos to everybody that put work in, parks, information, highway. It was a great weekend. All right, that brings us, I believe, to the highway department. Too soon?
No. We plowed snow, cleared sidewalks and parking lots, hauled garbage and recyclables. We moved snow from spots in town, or they're all over the place where it gets piled up, make room for more. We replaced an alternator in our Max snow plow. I apologize for the conditions of the road. Well, it was snowing pretty good before that happened, but I apologize for the conditions of the roads while we dealt with that issue. It was quite a feat to done what we did, and our out plowing with pickup trucks because we were down a truck and shifting trucks around and
You made it through.
made it through.
you tell me they don't break at 4th of July? these plow trucks?
Never had a snowplow break, unfortunately.
Neither have I, exactly.
We're always ready to go. We cleared snow and sanded for the frozen fire and lights. There's a lot of other things I just didn't get in my report, so like right now. Coming up, we're gonna plow snow, it looks like here with the forecast. Clear sidewalks, parking lots, haul garbage and recyclables. And soon our roads will be posted for the spring breakup to avoid damage to our highways, and I think you have that.
I have a resolution. You want me to offer it now?
Sure.
Resolution requesting and authorizing the county highway superintendent to post weight restrictions on town roads for the year 2022. Want me to read the whole thing? The same thing every year.
Same.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Inlet hereby requests and authorizes the county as superintendent of highways to post weight restrictions on town roads within the town of Inlet when he deems necessary for the calendar year 2022. Motion to accept the resolution as printed on the back of our agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second, discussion. That's that time of year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So carried. Continue, sir. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's pretty much all I have
Oh.
in my report. It's, where do you wanna go first?
I had a question before you bring some, am I allowed to ask a?
Sure, yeah.
I just wonder if the conditions permit, would you continue grooming the snowmobile trails, or are you complete with that?
You're asking the wrong person.
And that's Chip Sowers in charge of that. We had that conversation today. If conditions, he asked, when are we still open? I said, yes, we're open. And it's snow. If we get the snow they're talking about, the groomers are gonna go back out. And they're ready. And we've got that smaller groomer now, so that does make it easier to get back out. And even if he's just gotta go out and use the not the pan, thank you. Couldn't think of the word pan, but no, he is ready to go back out. We're hoping we're gonna still have usable, you travel along 28 unless we get some sun or rain. I mean, there's, if we get some snow on top of it, it's there to use. How many times has it melted this year already and it's come back when we didn't think it was gonna? So it's the same every year. April 1st is when they officially close.
Your trail system,
Yes,
the state trails are still open until they deem them closed.
Right.
I've been many years in April.
right, the permit system. The only thing I'm concerned with here is the permit system.
Used to be the 15th and we backed it back to the 1st.
And well, we had a couple of years there where we got that late snow
Yeah,
and everybody's like,
yeah,
it was horrible around
yeah.
President's Week. Can I go out and ride now? It is what it is. Where do we want to start? Huh?
Wherever you want.
Okay, why don't we start with fire suppression, fire and alarm system? Okay, we've got two quotes. Probably should have done this last year, but I mean, we've just been chasing our tail on trying to get everything done. So Sean's gone out and he's gotten two quotes for a system that we have to put in at the highway garage. We've got Johnson Controls, Sourcewell. They put in a quote for $20,405 for installation, including prevailing wage. And HD Toy Store LLC DBA Taz Electronics has put in a quote of $17,474.54. And they are apples to apples. You read these.
The Taz one has, can you help me with that, Ron? You remember, you were there that day. What did he put into that one? Something with the cell. It grabs the cell signal. You remember?
It's like a cell backup.
So he's got that over the Johnson Controls one. So they're offering more for less.
And can I make another comment? As I've asked Johnson Controls numerous times what we pay for our monitoring, because their bill is always different and so on and so forth, and nobody will get back to me. They can't even be responsive to tell me what we pay for monitoring and that type of thing. I mean,
No accountability then.
no, there's no, I mean, I have half a mind to get rid of them here in the town hall. because
And they're
they're
requiring
terrible.
us to get this
Yes.
Fire suppression
insurance
system.
is requiring. it, yeah.
Not to mention we had 20 false alarms that when it was first installed,
Mhm.
Yeah,
there was no accountability.
at all.
at all
Mm-mm.
inside.
Yeah, they didn't come up with enough of the replacement.
Heads or something. like that.
Heads, yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Motion to accept Taz Electronics' quote of 17,474.54.
I'll offer it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Herb, seconded by Dan. Further discussion?
Time frame?
Do they,
He didn't give me a time frame.
Just
I
curious.
imagine he's pretty quick.
yeah, they've been fairly responsive with everything else they've been doing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
That's a dry chemical. What is that?
It's just an alarm system.
Alarm
Alarm
system,
system
yeah.
only?
Dials, if there's a problem, it'll dial to their monitor office or whatever, and they'll know to contact 911. Contact the fire department.
Seeing as how I think 90% of the employees at the highway garage are also in the fire department, hopefully we'd be
Get a
in good
handle on
shape.
it. Somebody would show.
All right, we've got,
I'm done plowing, Sean, let me quit plowing it.
That might be the problem. I'll plow it.
trucks. As we know, with the replacement truck for the 1 ton, we had to order it early, like a year early, or get in because it was there available, as we've done with the police vehicles, trying to get in early. We know we're gonna be replacing one of the trucks within the next year and a half.
Well, by the
Next year.
Yeah, next year.
Mid-
Um,
23.
And Sean's been in contact with Utica Mac. We'd kind of like to stay in the rotation if we can with the vehicle we've got, the same type with the stainless back end, the whole 9 yards. Well, if we want to wait until summer to put an order in or next fall to put an order, it ain't gonna happen.
It's gonna push it out.
You've got to get in the loop.
14 months, or they're saying mid 23.
Yep.
If we order it now.
So, basically what we're looking to do tonight, if possible, is just get approval to place an order. We're not buying the truck tonight, but we're getting in line, we're getting in the loop. We're allowing them to place an order because they've got a letter from us saying, yes, we want a truck,
Tend to purchase and then they can.
intent to purchase. With that comes the scary price.
It didn't go down? Just
The Mack plow truck chassis, automatic transmission, the whole 9 yards comes in at 147,921. With the plow, I can't read the other
I'm sorry, my hand scratches. Plow equipment.
plow equipment, plowing equipment, is another 36,601.20.
136,000, wasn't it?
Oh. I was
The first
hoping,
one sounded good to me. I'm going with
I'm looking at this number and I got really excited because it says 184,520.22.20.
Blame Sean's
I'm
handwriting.
guessing it should say 284.
Should, man.
Herb, I almost made you real happy. I came this close.
In a day.
36 would be.
All right, stop omitting numbers. The truck itself, with everything on it, as we have now, correct? $284,522.20. This is no surprise. This is no shock. What did we get for the last truck when we sold it out? So 40 something,
30.
30,
No, it was like maybe 30.
maybe
One
30.
Before we got 50.
Yeah, we got 50. I think we might do a little bit better just because of the way trucks are going, but
Depends if it's full of fuel or not.
yeah.
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 Yeah, Sean did have a conversation with him about single axle versus double axle. And I mean, you're talking 30,000 plus difference for a single axle versus double axle.
That's something that I would like to explore later on. I'd
Yep.
like to get with maybe Herb and you or whoever to sit in and hash it out. It's just something that later on down the road we could possibly look at
Going to a single axle.
for our second truck.
Uh,
For the town roads, county roads.
This is for buying a truck that goes on the state beat. And for the last 3 years, we've got an excess amount of money that we've been getting back in our coffers for plowing the state beat. We're very good with our labor. We're very good with our time and our gas on that. So we've got some to put down on it. This ordering it now or saying we want to order it, or at least put our name in the hopper, it gives me a couple of months to try and figure out how we pay for this so that it doesn't jump out of the loop on what we're making on payments for the vehicles we have now. And I feel fairly confident that I'll be able to do that. The monies we have in the bank and the monies that are coming in. I mean, we are lucky enough that we've been not having the two soft winters, even if it hasn't been the kind of snow we wanted, we've still been having the ice and the rain and the other stuff where they still got to go out. They got to take care of the roads.
Did you have that conversation with Tracy about what you and I spoke of?
No, because I want you to be part of it.
Yeah, we need to have that conversation.
You tell me when, as you,
I will.
as your capital investment grows to double, you're doing it for the same money. It's not even our road. I gotta believe if he's managing everybody in the county, we can't be the only town auditing this. Somebody must say, well, Jesus, nice cow there. They're gonna buy us a truck and plow our road for us.
I have a funny feeling that those conversations are going to be happening all over the place. So, the state finally this year upped the CHIPS money a little bit. They've got to do something. It's been how many years we've been at the same level?
We're at the same, well, they gave us a little bit of a bump last year, but we were at the same level for a long time prior.
So
So,
last truck was 253,
240, 250.
somewhere in there. So
Yeah.
there's your difference in 5 years.
well, and quite honestly, with everything going on with trucks, I was kind of glad it's not over the 3, but again, this is just to get in the line. The only motion I need tonight is the letter of intent to say we're interested in
They
getting.
did a bill sheet with it, with
Yep.
something.
Sure, I'll offer that.
Tim offered that. John, JT seconded it. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All carried unanimous. I don't know, we're interested.
Will do, thank you.
Yep,
Thank you
well,
very
yeah,
much.
no
I
problem.
appreciate it.
Find a way to pay for it, even hopefully getting more money out of
There's
it.
talk of the red Chevy coming in January, February,
That was supposed to April, I think April.
April is pushed back to now.
Well, I think it was March or April, but I haven't heard anything.
Just curious. I know it's gotta be getting, yeah.
Probably it's getting close, but I haven't heard anything
I
yet.
mean, they didn't sell it on you, did they?
No.
Just checking.
Nothing.
Well, I got one more, and it's not highway, it is highway, but it's not highway, but it is highway. It's the old highway garage. The wooden door on the left side of the old highway garage, that's now our snowmobile
The
group.
last door.
The last door. Guess what?
It got blistered.
Well, no, it hasn't gotten blistered. That door has never been hit.
No, we couldn't, if you put brand new doors in there and they've been backed into multiple times.
No one hit the old one.
Busted out. And not this door. Couldn't get back to this door.
Well, don't change it now.
This is close to being an original door on the building.
It is the last original door.
It's done. Chip has got it so that it can open and close a couple more times, but it needs replacement.
Save that to the Historic Society or something? Just saying.
They're gonna need a bigger building to put the door in, I guess. Is there 2 prices on here?
Yes. There's one, and the difference is the thickness of insulation.
The R value.
Yeah,
All right, so 178, 70, and the other 75, 40, 50. Correct?
Correct.
So for another $330, we get a better insulated door, which over the course of the next 10 years could yield us some savings in heating the building. I don't know. What's your guys' thought?
What's the R value on either?
And the
The
state,
cheaper door is an R7. The other door is an R13.
For $300.
what are the other doors?
I don't know.
What I'm saying is if they're all R7, you're gonna argue me, you'd be better off with more money with
Honestly,
stripping, you know?
That question I'd have.
All the ones we replaced have been insulated.
They're all insulated,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, they're all insulated doors that are in.
I mean, we're gonna see a savings. You're replacing a wooden pane door
Yeah.
with no insulation.
Plastic.
This isn't a-
Same heat.
No, this is the heated side. This is the heated side,
The heated side is far right. You're talking the far right doors. You look at the front, right?
far left,
Far left,
Far left.
far left, closest to the new gas pumps.
the one that the police trailer's not in.
Going once, going twice, R13 or R7?
What's the price?
78, 70, 70 for the R13, 75, 40, 50 for the R7. $330 and 20 cents.
What's the life expectancy of the building? What are we thinking?
I'd like to keep the building for as long as we can. I mean, it's
I-
cold storage, it's,
I see us putting a new roof on that building at some point in time, just reskinning it,
yeah, it's serving its purpose right now.
you know, possibly taking off that back addition at some point, or when you reskin it, do something with it, but the core of the building is not in decent shape, but it's storage.
It's storage and it's working for the groomers.
And got it, you know, now that we're putting everything out, we've got everything undercover that needs to be undercover.
My grader's inside.
It's helping.
Is either of them doors the same as what's in there? Same torsion springs, rails, just trying to keep it universal in the event, just curious. You don't have a,
As the ones that are.
you don't want a mongoloid from the three you've already put in. I mean, in the event you get a torsion spring, they're all four, take the same spring. They all, is there anything standardized in that building at all?
And I don't,
My guess would be no. Two of the doors seem very similar. One is completely different. The one on the far right is completely different.
yeah, I mean, they've got, some of them have different lifts. We're using that same lift. That's fairly new.
Oh, this isn't even a new lift,
Whatever you wanna call it.
just the door,
It's the door and I believe it's the rails.
the rails. Wow.
Well, what are you recommending? I guess who's in charge of the building? Who's managing the building and what do they recommend?
I mean, I recommend we put the new door in because right now them springs, they're just Band-Aid together.
We have to put a door in.
Ticking time bomb, them springs, you know, the big long stretch
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah.
They can be suicidal.
Do you have another price for, you know, is it procurement for $7,600 without another price?
I
Or
mean, I can get
what's
another.
the deal
price. I
there?
Tried to get another company here and
Hard to get them.
Yeah, that's been the other issue. No, right now, I mean, we're probably looking at 3 to 4 months on getting the door anyways.
all day long.
No, anybody you call asking for a door is laughing at you right now.
So all the doors have lateral springs and this one has a torsion spring or just,
This is the door that has the long springs. Everything else has torsion springs. The newer doors are torsion springs.
and what we're quoting is this torsion springs, single or double torsion spring?
I would
Whatever.
have to say that had to be a double
I'd say
torsion
that's
spring.
double.
It's, how wide is the opening?
14,
14? It could go either way, but
I'm pretty.
that'd be marginal whether it could go.
yeah, 14. My new door, 10-foot door, it's got double springs on it. I gotta imagine this has got double
Holds it
springs.
smoother. I think we're
Right.
all wanted it.
I think it's double.
For $330, what's R7 or R13? We've got to do a door.
I would do the R7 door, but I would get another price too.
He's
I mean, I
tried
use
to get,
Okay, Adirondack garage door is the one I used to use at the school. I don't know if he's still doing doors or not, but just a thought.
I can reach out.
he'll give him a call.
It's not a problem. We can revisit this next month. That's fine.
So Loudville.
Right. All right, we'll come back to it next month.
It'd be nice to know what ours and the ones that are in there we've been putting in.
Yeah, I'd have to find the information if I can put my hand.
Moving on.
Sorry to throw that
No,
vent in the works, just, because everybody's just curious.
Adirondack.
Adirondack garage door out of, I think he's in Loudville.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Who was this price with?
Yeah, it is what it is.
This was TNN garage door and openers.
What about Junior?
Juniors won't talk to you. They're the ones that we're gonna come and then he
Never did.
texted me, says, "Oh,
It's usually pretty.
we're gonna pass on the job." And I'm like.
Wow.
And that's when the door was down and we wanted to do something.
Right.
I'll get the ball rolling. This door's been down, or it was down for quite a while this winter. He was making it work there with 3 groomers in and out of that one door.
Yeah,
And did it back together. And like I
we
said,
definitely need a door. I guess it's just deciding what our value or
Yeah.
what to spend. It's, nobody's contesting. We don't.
All right, we'll come back to it next month.
okay, yeah, it's not a problem. I'll dig in some more
Let's hope we don't break between now and then.
coming into spring.
I guess that takes us to transfer.
Transfer station's open 4 days a week, from 8 AM to 11:45 AM and then 1 PM to 6:45, closed from 12 to 1 daily for lunch. Closed Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday. Again, we haven't had time to put the new lights up that we talked about last month. We're still waiting for that nice day to come along where we're not really doing anything else. Place is clean and orderly and we're still working on gonna ship out them the clear, colored plastics and the milk jugs here. They're still coming to get them. And I'll be shipping out a load of cardboard at some point. That's pretty much all I have for transport.
All right, I don't have it on the agenda, but I forgot we were gonna have a resolution from the police department. So Ron's here tonight and I got a resolution to talk about, but I think Ron had something he wanted to say
Yeah,
prior to that.
I've got 3 items. If we could, got good news today from our personnel director in Hamilton County. It looks like our 211 waiver for Officer Sheen is going to go through. We've got that figured out. I won't bore you with the details, but civil services, our lady in Hamilton should have done something 3 years ago with, it was an administrative error. She was able to correct it. So his civil service status will go back to what it always was. We created something new here in Inlet when we didn't need to. So really nobody's fault, but we're back on track.
So I don't need that resolution that I was gonna authorize at the next county board of supervisors?
Well, no, we might need that resolution,
Okay,
but we do need the resolution tonight. And I think Bonnie's got it there. Yep. Oh,
hot off the press.
We're contemplating a civil service transfer, who holds the position of sergeant. So we need to create a sergeant position here in order to make that civil service transfer happen.
Want me to read that now?
Yeah.
Resolution, March 8th, 2022, Town of Inlet Police Department Sergeant's position. Whereas the Town of Inlet Town Board endeavors to provide for the general public safety by employing a full-time police department. And whereas the Town of Inlet Town Board acknowledges the benefits to be realized by the establishment of the position of sergeant within the ranks of the Town of Inlet Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Inlet Town Board hereby establishes the internal position of sergeant upon attending the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Supervisor School within 2 years of appointment. I'm reading it for Bonnie, so town clerk, oh, that's your authorization.
Yeah,
at the
that's
bottom.
just
I don't have
what
to
I
read
know.
that.
No.
Again, this is just creating the position, allowing us to do it, should it be happening or be available. Without this, we can't do it. Anybody want to make,
I'll make.
I'll offer it.
offered by Herb, seconded by JT? So it took it, the internet took it a little longer to say yes. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
I,
opposed, so carried unanimously.
So, yeah, the key word is available, so that we can work on it and once forward. And then my last thing is the Town of Webb Police Department tonight did our award presentation. We had about 6 different cases that we wanted to discuss and show recognition to our officers for various cases because of COVID and so on and so forth. One of those cases included Officer Sheen. Officer Sheen won't be here tonight. He's got a doctor's appointment in the morning, so he wasn't able to do that. We thought it might be fun to FaceTime him because he's doing his colonoscopy properly. So, we're going to skip that. Officer Sheen will be doing that, but on September 12th at, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning, we had an accident on the lake where we needed to secure evidence, and Officer Sheen did a great job of methodically grabbing these pieces of huge evidence, boats, so on and so forth. And we needed a place, we couldn't transport them far, but we needed them undercover in a hurry. Both Deputy Chief Khalil and Christine contacted Sean Hansen. The town barn was open and in service, or not in service yet, but had a concrete floor. Highway Superintendent Hansen was good enough to come in the middle of the night, work through the night with us to secure evidence. I don't even think he had locks on the doors. We had to figure out a way to secure the doors. Sean goes above and beyond for us, storing, transporting him and Fire Chief Townsend, our mobile command post when we need it. So I wanted to present this to Highway Superintendent Hansen with sincerest appreciation, with sincerest appreciation for assisting the police department throughout the night and assistance in securing evidence for mass casualty on September 12th, 2020. So thank you, Sean, for all. And Officer Sheen will be recognized at a later time. So that's all I have.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna excuse myself because I got another incident that's happening as we speak. So,
I'd just like to say you look sharp in your uniform.
Yes,
That's
I-
nice, sir.
Shiny looking.
Take care.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from highway or transfer?
No, I'm good.
You ought to be. Should be proud of yourself too, sir. Thank you for everything you do. Town clerk's report.
All right, so, revenue is $13,545, which most of that is snowmobile permits that were entered that month. We did that. What else do I have here? Oh, okay. Don Hale had an accident, or didn't have an accident. He was driving his vehicle up to the wastewater treatment plant. A deer hit him, didn't run out in front of him, hit him and caused quite a bit of damage to his truck. He's wondering if the town's going to pay for it. Are we gonna put it on his our insurance, or what's your pleasure?
Does he not have insurance on his truck? Just curious, I'm just,
I'm sure he has insurance on his truck. He feels that because he was using his truck in the capacity of the job, not just that he was going to work, because if any of
we
us.
pay a mileage, all right?
No,
No, okay.
no, he's been basically doing that out of the kindness of his heart.
What are you saying? We're supposed to provide him a company vehicle?
Well, it could come to that.
Well, we wouldn't be, the sewer plant would, right? So
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
With the sewer plant.
Of his own insurance cover that, because it's a deer accident. It's not like
That's what
it raises.
It's supposed to, I don't know.
Oh, well.
It's an act of God, they call it comprehensive, right?
Living with an insurance agent, that's a fair statement to make. It shouldn't raise your rates, but it can, and it can also put you into cancellation.
Was it deer ran into you?
Yeah. Did he have a,
Did you ask him?
Yes, so he has an estimate. And there was $3,051.31 worth of damage.
Did he have an accident report?
No, because Ron would, he did talk to Ron. Ron said you don't need an accident report in New York State now for deer. accident.
Comprehensive.
unless it's two vehicles
Right.
It's the two vehicles.
Two vehicles or injury.
or injury?
So what happened in Fern Park?
No, it happened on the way up. So he's going up the hill and
So, yes, in the park.
Frank did witness it. I mean, he was going up by the marina.
So Frank scared the deer.
No, Frank was behind him and he did witness it happen. But,
So
you know, I
I
don't
just have
know.
a question. So anybody on their way to work at the highway garage could do the same thing? I don't understand the difference.
It's like coming down here, we come down here for a meeting.
Right.
Well, if it was the day,
Curious where you
was it
go.
the day of the break?
It was the day they were investigating the break.
Yeah, so he was going back and forth from the marina to the sewer plant repeatedly and the town hall. That therein lies the problem. His work isn't just at the sewer plant. He's got to come down here and check the pumps and do stuff too. So it's, you know, it's, I don't mean to say it's a gray area, but it's a gray area.
I mean, I can ask our insurance company if that's something they would pay.
But
because
it's not
they
listed
should
on our
know.
policy.
It's
Well,
not.
it's all hired vehicle, all owned, non-owned hired vehicles.
We don't pay him mileage, so it's not a hired vehicle.
Exactly, we don't pay a mileage, just said we don't pay a
Non-owned,
mileage. so
falls
I don't
under
know.
non-owned.
This is strange.
See if we have coverage.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
asked him.
See if we have coverage, and then I think we'll probably come back to it because I don't think it's fair to give an answer at this point.
Mhm. Okay, that was that thing. We have justice records to approve or you know, I don't know if you just wanna, if I just wanna provide them in my office, you can look at it, you can all look at them, or how you wanna handle it. I mean, it doesn't really tell you much. You can look at them.
You get one from each of the justices,
Yeah.
right?
Justices, but I mean, it's
What
hard.
I've done in the past is just pretty much read out the totals that came in.
Okay.
And these reports are available in the clerk's office for review.
Right.
I believe they're public records too, correct?
Not with,
Oh, no, because they've got names.
Yep.
Sorry, they've got names. But the
but totals would be, yeah.
totals would be. Cash report for Inlet Town Justice Court, Timothy Schofield. I believe total deposits for that period were $8,821. And for Inlet Town Court, Justice Airy was $10,298.
So.
We need a motion to approve those as submitted by the courts.
Sure, I'll offer.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Again, this is just, it's boilerplate. They have to submit these to us so that we're in acknowledgement. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.
And lastly, I was wondering if the board would consider, the Epilepsy Foundation has a gala to raise funds, and most of the money comes from silent auctions. So they like look for, room rentals, room a weekend here, a weekend there. What I was wondering if the town would be willing to do is if there was a weekend that's not already booked, either in June or October, that's not already booked, if we would be able to donate to like a 2-night stay or something in one of the cottages for the Epilepsy Foundation.
If it's not booked, I think it's a great idea. I do. I can't speak. for anybody else.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I would never.
Herb?
Yeah.
I just have to wonder if then we open the door to everybody looking for the same thing. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe, Alzheimer's Association wants so on, you gave it to this one. That's my only catch here real quick.
Mhm.
I mean, if we're not gonna run it anyway,
When's the gala?
The gala is April 2nd, but obviously it wouldn't be, you wouldn't give, something for this year until.
No, but it's not like you can put it off for another month and think about it.
I mean, you can,
Our window of that though is so small. I mean, it's hard to think you're gonna get bombarded.
right.
Rent season's got bigger and bigger and bigger. Somebody's gonna come here the 15th of January to sleep on the floor there.
Oh.
Or if you had a cancellation.
A Couple of the requirements are you gotta make sure that the water's on and.
Right?
Right. That's why it would have to be,
Yeah, so it
the
really
weekend
limits.
after Columbus.
well, no, I rent it then. I wouldn't give it that.
Oh, all right, then, sorry.
Like I say, the window is so small.
Yeah, I would
There.
only either be like a
November
weekend in
1st.
June.
That'd probably be our out if you got too many of these, is you run out of time.
Right.
I don't see an issue with a 2-night one for something like this.
First come, first serve, but
Right, they've already got their foot in the door. There's only a couple weeks.
It's not like we're advertising this out on the web or anything like that. It's gonna be at the gala. It's,
Yeah,
as I've said before on something like this, if somebody wants to come and ask, come and ask. No, we don't get a lot of asks.
yes or no, we just, you gotta ask, right?
I'm not
We
inviting the
actually-
app.
We actually did one a couple of years ago for what, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we did have some kind of silent auction. Maybe it was through the town or whatever, but
I think it was a
I know it happened once before.
Right. So there's small precedent for it.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of a 2-night
Tonight.
Me too.
I'm okay.
board. Do we need a motion on that? I don't think so.
Yeah.
up to your schedule.
Anything else?
I think that was all I had.
I had a question. real quick.
Yep.
When do you send out your notices for the upcoming seasonal rentals? That already gone out? or-
Yeah, they already went out, and now I have my reservation system. It automatically triggers at 120 days before the rental. They'll get their invoice. So
Is that coming offline, online, offline? Off the online?
off the online. That's right, yeah.
I have another question. if that's all right.
Sure.
It fell under the information office because it's directly with the clerk. Adele did note that in her report on page 7, she said, I'm still hoping Inlet might be able to offer online shopping cart for snow wheel permits. I'm also hoping that Webb and Inlet will get together after the season is over, discuss this whole permit program. There's much in this program that is broken, not just the FileMaker program, and I'm hoping that we can work together to fix it all for involved sellers, purchasers, groomers, enforcers, et cetera. And I bring it up myself because I did have to come in a number of times to deal with the FileMaker
Mhm.
issues. They were almost all generated in web, the issues. And then they have a new IT company that really didn't know anything about what was happening there. And of course, they don't really have anyone. So the idea of decentralizing the program came up a number of times, and we just did not get at it. It was in the middle of the season. It just was not the time to rewrite the program. But this technology has changed.
Had you heard I had a meeting with the new supervisor in Webb?
Okay. Reported on that.
Last month, I reported out that I made the offer because they had been coming back to us talking about redoing something with the percentage of money that was going to be reimbursed to the town of Inlet, because they were doing a lot more of the filing online and, the processing the permits. And I made the offer with kind of half the board's quasi approval. Let's keep the permit percentage the same, but Inlet's willing to pay for the new system to replace FileMaker Pro. She was very receptive to it. I don't know if she's taken it to her board or not. Because quite honestly, my thought was that it needs to be entirely online so that, cloud's where it has to be. And number two, I asked her if she wanted to save $60,000. Stop eating the credit card percentages
Yep.
that you are right now. The comptroller told us years ago, you're not supposed to do that. So, there's enough money to
Offset any software program.
backfill us half of their credit card fees and then only turn around and give us 14% of the permit sales. So I've tried to get my toe in the door with the supervisor going from the top. I'm hoping Adele can continue to work with Mike Farmer. Or try to work with Mike Farmer. But that's why yes,
Yeah, yep.
what's the sign that's hanging at the barn? What doesn't need to be said? Doesn't need to be said. Gotcha.
I had forgot something. Were you done, Denny?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot something.
On the same wavelength.
I had, this might help with all the conversations about money tonight. I had applied for a COVID relief fund last year. I never mentioned this to you, and we got $36,000. They gave us almost 16,000 last year, and they're gonna give us the balance this year. So I mean, there's a little bit of help, but I just want to let you know that they did approve all that, and they're gonna.
That can offset.
No.
We can literally, as federal government does in its own weird ways, use it for anything.
Well, that's the reason I brought it up was, I can substantiate certain things like ordering a truck this year because of COVID, because it's related to COVID and things like that.
And the fact that you can't get them and you need to order it early,
Right.
even though you would have thought we would have been digging through all the receipts to, come up with all the hand sanitizer bills, the face mask bills, the other bills. They're not asking for that.
Mm-mm.
Just that.
Yeah, they're not asking, they're just asking for like a narrative, like what happened, like why do you need this 36,000? I just gave them narrative. I told them loss of rents and.
Yep.
And we did. We had loss of rents. We had the other stuff. We could substantiate it up. Anything else?
No, I'm sorry.
All right, on the back, page 10, there's a library board appointment they'd like to make. Edie Schreppel has left the area. Number one, I'd like to thank Edie for her years of service on the library board.
Yeah.
But the library board requests the appointment of Barbara Thibodeau, who had been on the board, moved away, and she's come back. It's just a manner of making a motion to.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I would like to, part of the discussion, I'd like to thank Barbara Thibodeau for stepping forward. Volunteers are hard to come by these days, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
Great to have her.
work well with the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. 911 cell phone calls. being sent through Albany, bounce to Hamilton County, bounce back down to Fulton County, possibly coming into Hamilton County. I raised a little bit of a stink at our last County Board of Supervisors meeting when Mr. Farber started talking about the need for all the towns to sign on to the Hamilton County 911 system so that they could start collecting their fees off of the phone calls. I made it quite clear that I don't care about the fees on the phone calls, and I don't think Hamilton County needs to get any fees from any phone call via 911 if that means all towns have to sign on. Long Lake goes to Essex. Hope, Benson go down through Fulton County. We go to Herkimer. I get the fact that they wanted the 911 system call center for Lake Pleasant, for Indian Lake, possibly Blue Mountain, possibly Morehouse. It doesn't work and fit for everybody. It's not going to be on the tower here. You can't talk on the radios now. And he admitted during the meeting that there is the chance for, something happening by bouncing these calls all over the place. I've made the appeal that I want to sit down with the state police, the county, the local here, the Verizon representative. And I also made the statement that I will put a blockade on T-Mobile and AT&T going on the new towers if this isn't resolved. We don't need to turn on 2 more cell companies and have more calls going in the wrong direction. I've heard from the police, I've heard from Denny, I've heard from others that this person's gotten out of the way, this person's gotten out of the way. Well, it seems like Hamilton County is not getting out of the way, and I'm furious. And I let them know that. And Mr. Farber begrudgingly admitted that safety is more important than call dollars. So I don't know what to update you on any of that, but it's somebody's going to wind up losing their life from a lost phone call or a lost transfer someplace.
Very close. Right?
It's horrible. And the fact that they're taking it lightly or not seriously enough has really got me going.
Why is this so clumsily installed like this?
It's an archaic system that the state police used to have the lock on. That if you didn't have this, it had to go in that direction or something like that. And the cell phone.
They didn't have GPS.
Right. Right. The cell phone communications have made it worse, in all honesty. We're lucky enough that we've been working through the Frontier phone system. We finally got that dialed down that at least we know where we are. But when you make a call off of a cell tower, the tower right now is registered in Albany, for lack of a better, and Verizon won't move it. Can't move it, I don't think.
They're probably not allowed to.
Which is,
They have third party that deals with that, and that party has remained sheltered for some reason. I would have already been up there. I would have already spoken to those people.
yeah, but they won't.
They're not revealing who that
Who
is.
they even are.
So anyways, I'm still trying to get all the players to the table so that they can all sit at the table and say, okay, it's ridiculous. It can be pointed to Herkimer.
It is
We'll
everywhere else. It's not a problem at other places. If
Right.
you go to, let me just show you about how far it is. If you make a call now all the way to Dakers, it goes to Albany. And they have to make a determination who they think is going to take the call. What the hell does Albany know about a dirt road that might touch another county or a town? It's really bad. We have examples in Inland, but there was a call on Stock Road, which we all know is Stock Lane.
Yep.
The person in Albany couldn't read the map appropriately and couldn't figure out that probably Inlet should respond to that call. Well, they didn't. They sent it to Essex County. So because Essex County is the registered for Long Lake. And even though that road does touch Long Lake for a very small amount, they sent the call to Essex County and they sent a trooper from Tupper during the day. So downstairs were 2 Inlet officers.
They could have responded.
They could have responded. This happened early in the afternoon. The 911, then they needed EMS. So this happened at nighttime. It was already dark. And all the resources were right here, 5 minutes away.
All this technology, we're not utilizing any of this. It just makes me
Well, and the unfortunate thing is it starts boiling down to these little fiefdoms. It's
It's,
It's what it is. Somebody is grabbing money.
All right, I think that's all I had. Public comment? Or anybody on the board have anything they'd like to bring up?
I had one more thing. We did do some number of IT things, just, I did not submit a bill this month, but there will be for next month. We did finish the work that was required in Cottage 4. We removed a bunch of equipment that kind of stockpiled up since I had left. And Dank required that to be removed. It was not appropriate. I do want to thank Parks for coming up with some ideas about where Eagle could put some of their equipment, because we are supporting the town. And we had a small amount of equipment that we needed to put somewhere, and we're working with the Parks Department for that, Parks and Buildings. We appreciate their help.
We didn't wind up going on the ground floor of Cottage 4, right?
Not at the moment, but
Right.
we might, probably not underneath there, because gets too crowded in the winter.
And it might be a little damp and dank in there anyway.
Well,
Talk about dank.
Okay, we have controlled environment, but there are places we can find. And a lot of the equipment got moved here in the plaza, which is locked and it's plenty secure. They had some concerns because they are now supporting cell phone companies out of that room. And there's some security concerns about that, so they just didn't want a lot of town equipment in there.
Makes sense.
Again, we did have a number of service calls for the snowmobile program, which every one of them ended up being a problem in town of Webb with their changes they made down there.
And now that Mr. Tickner's gone, who's gonna come and fix that program?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody left that even, well, that's another problem, is it was so old that you can't upgrade. And it was locked at XP, so it kludged through, and Windows 7 kind of works, 10 crashes a lot. And the Mac has already well exceeded that. It's almost 10 years old. So unless they either have to upgrade their services completely or go online.
Go online.
Well, you can always send that bill right down to Town of Webb. Or add it to the reimbursement.
I'll let the clerk first that wherever.
Yeah, we'll dive into the percentage.
I'll make sure it's a detailed bill. when I submit it.
Anything else from the public?
So now we have good cell service at Red Dog Tavern. Is that because of the Verizon tower on the church property?
It most likely is. It most likely, now, is it great service or is it good service?
Well, I never used to have cell service like going home, South Shore, and now I do.
Pretty good.
You can get phone calls sitting right there in Red Dog. You never.
I mean, I still think there's issues, me personally, with the tower. Another 25 feet would have been lovely, because it's gonna drop on and off here and there. I mean, I had a phone call I was making on the way to Old Forge yesterday, and I, believe it or not, I actually lost it going into Old Forge.
Yeah, the coverage didn't change there, unfortunately.
No,
I've lost stuff in Eagle Bay and there's no reason for that. It should, I don't know if they ever turned it up and off, they turn it off or something. What they're doing.
Down your road's a problem.
No, not on my road. I'm going in Eagle Bay, like on 28. Get a point there.
I don't think they can turn the signal up, can they? The signal is,
I'm sure they're maximum.
right, it'd have to be more arms on the tree in order for more signal, right?
A lot of technology. It's not just turn it up. There's a frequency.
Right.
signal.
All right, anything else to come before the board? If not, I'll accept the motion to pay highway.
So moved.
Second that.
Discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Motion to pay general and sewer as presented.
I'll move it.
Second, discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Motion to adjourn. I'll head to Herb's. Herb's out offering drinks and dinner.
Come on down.
What's the temperature there, Herb?
I think it got about to 88 today. It's supposed to get to 90 tomorrow.
How warm's the pool?
I don't think the pool's probably about 72, 74.
All right, meeting's over.
Somebody adjourned. I didn't see them here.
Yeah, do we have an adjourn? Somebody make the motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
All right,
I'll second.
Herb and JT, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for joining us, Herb.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll be back
Travel
next
safe.
week.